We begin with the blue chair from San Antonio, Texas, Michael Gomez. He is a chicken strip connoisseur, and he's tried out hundreds of restaurants. Now to the red chair from Tilbury, Ontario, Adam Quenville. His fun fact, he finished his deck list while in the registration line. There you go. Let's duel. Let's send it over to our casters.
So many duelists have been there, right? You got to get that pen and paper out for the deck list. So, wow, it's one of those things. But he made it. Look how far he has gotten in the tournament. It's going to be kind of a squeaker of a duel, though. Look at this matchup.
Yep, we got Kashtira versus Fiendsmith Tombkeeper. Going to be really exciting to see from both players here. Both players also notably at 6 wins. I don't know if you guys know this, but 19 points is the magic number to guarantee your spot in day 2. So the winner of this match will have a guaranteed shot of going into the next round. And, of course, going into round 10 at day 2. But if they lose, they still have 1 round left to maybe make it up.
We can't get ahead of ourselves yet because this is still Swiss round 8 and both duelists just working as hard as they can. Sort of a win and in situation here. Not on the bubble just yet, but it would just be nice to get into that next round with a little bit of confidence and start working towards that coveted spot in the top cut.
And this is why it's really cool to see people kind of like on the bubble. You get to see archetypes that we haven't necessarily seen that much of. We saw a lot of Tombkeeper today, all the brand new Odeon cards being supported from Maze of the Master. We all know they're awesome. But Kashtira, a pure Kashtira deck in 2025. Amazing to see.
Level 7 and level 7 services, but it shows you that there's a lot of decks out there. You know, some duelists, they're like, oh, I don't want to play any of these new decks. I'll sit this format out. You don't have to sit the format out. Just play the cards you already know and love. And obviously that has done some great things for Michael here, having a really almost spotless tournament record. Again, no losses, just a draw with Kashtira.
Yeah, going to be really exciting to see how that kind of lends itself into this matchup here, because Kashtira famously a really nice, good source of non-engine that can interact with monster effects, but doesn't necessarily do that much against trap card effects. So Adam might have some really fun advantage points, just kind of seizes the opportunity of this matchup in particular.
That is a very interesting thing. A lot of duelists in Master Duel, having seen, you know, the forces of Kashtira Unicorn, Kashtira Ogre, Kashtira Fenrir, they know, oh, I'll just sequence my monster effects correctly so I don't run into any trouble. Adam kind of having that advantage, just like you said, there aren't any monster effects if they are trap cards.
Also, in the TCG specifically, unlike Master Duel, we have 3 copies of all the Kashtira cards, Fenrir, Race Off, and let's see how they can interact in this game 1. Both duelists ready for the roll. Will we get the tie for some evenly matched duelists? That is 6 over from Adam.
Arrows 1.
Michael going for the roll.
That is 3.
Ooh, swing and a miss.
But something tells me Michael doesn't care too much about that.
It's kind of nice from Michael's perspective. You almost want to lose the die roll so you don't give any information to your opponent. Kashtira is certainly known for being able to go second. And look at that, Fuwalos and Raigeki. This might be a blind going second build.
Yeah, if I knew I was going second, I'd love those 2 cards in my hand.
Well, let's see what Adam ends up doing, having a Fuwalos of their own in the hand. Also got, it's like a couple of different ways to start this turn, but we're going to start with a man with the mark.
This will let him go search for...
Searches for Temple of the Kings or...
Adam, I couldn't have said it better than myself. It can search for Temple of the Kings or any card that mentions it.
All right, let's see exactly what we pull here then.
I think we already saw Treasure of the Kings in Adam's hand, so we could just get the OG Temple if we wanted to.
Certainly could. Also has the Anubis, the Last Judge in hand, and getting a little preview of the deck there. The Fiendsmith monster is certainly at the ready. It's going to be a very powerful turn indeed, especially if we just get 2 monsters on the field and turn them into Moon of the Closed Heaven.
Yep, there we see the OG Temple going to be able to activate set cards this turn by activating this effect. But first, we're going to use Treasure of the Kings to get even more searching out of our deck. This could get us our Circuit here now that we have some more advantage.
I think so. Now you can tell Adam has had to be doing this all day, right? Explaining to his opponent what these great cards do. Do not sleep on this deck because we've seen so many times people just finding new ways to kind of combine it with other strategies as well. And even the core deck's great.
Yep, and here we see Adam looking through his deck once again, just getting more cards added to his hand. We're going to get the Serpent of Apophis trap card. That'll let him search for another Apophis after he activates his Temple of the King, which will be really nice. And thus, if he has his 2 trap monsters, he'll be able to fusion summon.
Setting that second trap on the field. Now he's got 2 traps, so we're going to go ahead and use the effect of the Treasure of the Kings.
Search the circuit.
Yep, there's the circuit I was talking about, adding to his hand right here.
I have Temple of the Kings on the field. I banish a level 10 or higher. Can I read it? Yeah.
Yeah, so he's just going to explain that he can banish a level 10 or higher from his deck in order to, I believe, summon the monster.
It can, and it's crazy too because it is 10 or higher. It doesn't have to be exactly 10, so you can use that for things like Lord of the Heavenly Prison,
yeah,
or
okay.
Nibiru the Primal Being. Lots of great monsters in the format.
And of course, it's specifically a reference to Winged Dragon of Ra being a level 10 monster, but also Anubis the Last Judge, because why not?
Certainly
Yeah,
works.
this one, no, like, let's say Apophis.
That's a judge call you do not want to make.
So here we see the Link 2 here, and we'll see the second half of Adam's deck, going to be probably that Fiendsmith engine by starting off with that Moon of the Closed Heaven. Oh, actually going straight into Silhouette Rabbit. My bad. I think, obviously, he's trying to play around the Fool as much as possible. All you really need is Silhouette Rabbit.
Certainly helpful card there. You know, it was a great card at first, but mostly was just used for the Azarun statue. Now we're getting to see its full potential here with multiple different decks.
Ooh.
Oh, and it's the Statue of the Anguish pattern.
This is a really awesome card that released in, I believe, Crossed Souls of all sets. It's a common, and it's one of the most powerful enablers for all trap monster-based decks, basically giving you infinite pops equal to the number of trap monsters you can summon.
Does get to go ahead and activate that Apophis immediately because of the Temple of the King spell card.
The one you set off? Yeah.
Yep, so now he's going to be able to set Swamp Deity, and thanks to Serpent, he can also activate that this turn, get another trap monster, and then he's going to probably use these two to fusion summon into the Apophis fusion monster.
That Divine Surface Apophis is no joke. Again, being able to get back two Apophis trap cards, it's so insane.
He is giving away another Fuelos draw, but trust me when I say it's worth it because this card represents another pop when activating a trap card, and he gets to reset the two trap cards that he used to summon it. Amazing.
Good stuff.
That's an Apophis monster.
We've seen people cheer for Set 5 Pass and Eldritch, but this is just on a whole nother level.
I believe everything besides the set card that Adam had before he searched with treasure is known.
And strategically, this deck just does so much. We didn't get into the Fiendsmith engine, obviously, because of the Mulcharmy Fualos, but he got to test the waters. So if we hadn't seen the Mulcharmy, it would have been... What?
Harpy's Feather Duster when Mammoth Mark is not in play.
Oh, and there's no Verdict of Anubis either.
No, but there is Swamp Deity. So if you chainlink one Swamp Deity, chainlink two Anguish Pattern, you can use the Swamp Deity to negate the Harpy's Feather Duster that's on the field. Really heads up play from Adam here. Otherwise, he would lose his entire back row. Normally, your Mammoth Mark can protect your back row, but he's not in play right now.
It's so cool to have that built-in archetype negate, and it can just basically just happen at a moment's notice like we're seeing here. Great art on Harpy's Feather Duster, but it is not going to help this turn.
Definitely a jump scare if you're Adam, 100%. And there we see Raigeki, another powerful going second card here. Going to be destroying all of his monsters. Right now, I don't think they have protection, so they are open to being destroyed. And unless Adam has a second Swamp Deity, I don't think he'll be able to stop this one. Yep, there it is. They all get destroyed. Silhouette Rabbit and the like. All we have left is the Serpent of Apophis that we know about and another face down. And there we see Kashtira Unicorn coming out from Michael because he has no monsters. He can special summon it. Just going to let him get birth.
A very strong way to start that go second build. Again, just clearing the field of everything and then just summoning your first monster there. Although there's not as many targets left in the extra deck for Kashtira Unicorn to gobble up at this point. The most important ones, of course, are the Silhouette Rabbit and the Divine Serpent and the Apophis. But we'll see what happens from here as Kashtira Birth. Search out from the deck and add it to the hand.
And I think I saw a Wraithsoth in Michael's hand, meaning he has a guaranteed normal summon of whatever Kashtira monster he wants. And I think I see a Rise Heart in his hand, too. Ooh, it looks like he's going to be using the Rise Heart's effect to summon itself.
Yeah. Good.
This does lock him now into Xyz monsters, but I don't think Michael cares about that because that's all he wants to summon anyway.
Does feel pretty good. Beautiful Kashtira Fenrir Ultimate Rare there.
Beautiful. That was from, what, OTS 22, 24?
Want to say you're right on that.
Something like that? Someone knows in the chat for me, but it's a beautiful card nonetheless.
Going to go and banish those 3 cards face down. Wonder if we hit anything too important there. We'll never know. We're going to drop the Kashtira Birth down.
Yeah, we could just use it to special summon the Unicorn from the Banish Zone here, actually. So there we see the Apophis Serpent, and we're going to get Swamp Deity again, and now we can use that Swamp Deity to negate the Birth before it has a chance to activate its effect. Really heads up play from Adam.
No, super smart, preventing both the special summon and the additional normal summon of a level 7 monster. Just a great way to try to keep his opponent at bay as long as he can.
And because these are all trap cards, they don't trigger any of the Kashtira monsters.
Certainly helps to be safe there.
But no need to activate it right now. You can just do it in response to Michael using Birth.
Well, you might try to use it early because you're afraid, but I guess he's worried about additional cards there.
Other trap monsters. So like one.
He still does have Temple of the Kings as well, just in case some interesting shenanigans happen, but... Now we're going to go ahead and do the Kashtira Theosis.
Oh, that was Kashtira Theosis. I thought it was Wraithos. So sorry, everyone. That is Kashtira Theosis. That's going to be a really powerful card for him here.
And a big decision for Adam to make. Do you stop the Kashtira Theosis now and leave the Birth in play? Well, it'll be able to use its effect at least.
Something to keep in mind here is that if Michael does get access to Shangri-Ira, because Adam has already clogged up some of his zones with the Temple of the Kings, it could be hard for him to set more spell and trap cards. That could be pretty rough for him, actually.
Always oppressive to lock out those spell and trap zones. I usually do that against Labyrinth decks on Master Duel, and it has great effects. We'll see if that pays off here. But we're actually just getting a Scareclaw cached here, just putting a body on board.
Yeah, probably just wants to go into a level 7 play if he can.
Well, a lot of 7s to choose from.
Big Eye could be a funny one because you can take the trap monster that Adam has.
Oh, wow.
Trap zone if I attack it. So it is a normal monster on the field.
This deck has gone through a lot of different iterations, but as you see, Kashtira Pure is still a deck.
And I believe Michael still has access to his normal summon, if
Hasn't
I'm
used it yet, that's right.
not mistaken. So here we have Burst Effect to summon, it looks like.
Now we've got to, yep.
Yes, 100%. We cannot let him get access to Fenrir if he doesn't already have one in hand.
No, it just negates it.
Pope is the Swamp Deity jumping out there to go ahead and negate the Kashtira Birth.
I did see a second Birth flashed in Michael's hand, but I believe it can only be activated once per turn.
Believe so. Might be helpful if you need to get an additional normal summon out of it, but
That's true, that is true.
we'll see.
Let's see, what rank 7s could he have access to here? Big Eye, I think, would be a funny one. Red Eye's Flare Metal could be a funny one. We also saw Shangri-Ira in there, too. I know he wishes he could summon a Rise Heart, but that we do not have that in the TCG, unfortunately.
It is funny, we're still using the Kashtira Rise Heart icon for the deck. Certainly notorious monster there, but not exactly going to show up in this duel. But we are doing an Xyz summon.
Ooh, there's the, I believe that's called Felgrand, correct?
I think it might be the Armed Dragon. Let's take a look here.
Dark Arm Dragon, the Annihilator, that's what it was. Yeah,
that's right.
It reminded me so much of the level 8 Felgrand, though, but it's a rank 7 monster, of course.
And a very big one.
So here we see him detaching the Unicorn to activate the effect. I'm just getting a clarification on what this card does before he lets it resolve. And I think he's deciding that he wants to destroy the Treasure of the Kings with its effect.
Target that one.
No, he's going to get rid of the Temple of the Kings. Really good heads-up play here that from Michael that kind of like turns on a lot of the cards in Adam's deck.
Definitely a good way to do it. Going to banish that Kashtira Theosis.
And like I
add back and...
Activate Breath.
Oh, and there's the second birth for the normal summon.
Gotcha. So you can activate multiple bursts, but like you can use each effect once per
That's
turn.
correct. That's correct.
Did I use Fenrir this turn? Did I
And this
not
is
get
going to be
Fenrir?
huge because now the Kashtira Fenrir can clear out
Fenrir.
a lot of threats there, whether they be defensive or maybe just clearing out the field spell. Now, I think I noticed this before as we're flipping through the deck. It looks like there are no trap cards being run by Michael there. So we have all spells versus a predominant amount of traps.
Wow, the battle of the going first deck versus the going second deck, I guess.
22.
I think they're both in their comfort zone. They both got to do exactly what they want to do, but let's see which strategy prevails as we bring out Tier Laments Kashtira.
Going to be banishing the Unicorn in order to summon that monster.
Summon effect.
Using the on-summon effect to mill. Going to go ahead and have the deck cut before we send cards from the top of our deck to the graveyard. Just make sure we do everything in the right order as possible here.
I'm going to send the top 3 of your graveyard.
Oh, of his deck.
He's gonna be
Interesting.
getting rid
So
of
Adam's
Adam's
going to
cards.
lose cards.
Ooh, sending an engraver to the yard is really huge for Adam. But right now, I don't think he has any light fiends in there, so...
Not yet, but he does have 2 monsters, but not for long.
Oh, hold on. Okay, that card can't attack. We'll go
Yeah, I believe Burp says the monster can attack, right, if it's summoned?
22 and 18. Yep. Going to 22.
Oh, no.
Sure.
And no, it can definitely go in.
Dark Arm Dragon can attack.
That's correct. So we are losing the Treasure of the King's Field spell and one of our trap monsters.
I mean, Michael has eaten up all of Adam's resources this turn, and he still has access to his own rank 7s if he wants.
Shows you this deck still gets it done. 2,600 direct, bringing him down to 5,400 life points.
I mean, with this board texture, making Shangri-Ira with Fenrir still up feels pretty good to me.
Main phase 2.
And I think we're going to go into another rank 7 here. I feel like it's probably time for Kashtira Shangri-Ira.
Or Red Eye's Flare Metal and just like deal Adam damage every time he uses a card.
I mean, with a combo deck like this, it could really stack up. And while it has materials, it can't be destroyed, and there was a lot of destruction effects in this deck, so maybe not the worst way to do it. Oh, he's going back and forth. He's not sure.
He is going to go for the Red
is.
Eye's Flare Metal Dragon. There it is.
Hey, Red Eyes. All right, so Joey Wheeler jokes aside, it is a powerful card for sure.
Yeah, that's going to basically just put a lot of pressure on Adam to every time he not only activates a card, every time he activates a monster, that card will then trigger Fenrir, and then every time he activates any card, he'll just take damage.
And doing the math here, I think that means Adam could only activate 11 effects without dealing with that card, and honestly, 11 effects
Might be more
in
than
this
enough.
deck, yeah.
But to also play through a Fenrir and a potential Dark Arm Dragon swing on the next turn, that's pretty rough.
All right, so we're going to use Anubis the Last Judge. When it resolves, that's 500.
Yep, this will get us our man with the mark, which will then get us into our full Tomb Keeper combo like we saw on turn 1.
It almost feels like a duel puzzle, right? Can you win in 11 moves?
I don't know if you guys heard, but Michael's like, I really should have bought some maze packs so I knew what these cards did before I played against them. Yes, Michael, that is a great idea.
Words to live by.
Buy the new set so that way you don't get styled on by these really awesome archetypes.
You know, I make the jokes about doing the Duel Academy homework, but it is important to just take a look at the set. Just force yourself to just read through the Yu-Gi-Oh! Database and be like, okay, at least I've read all of these cards at least once. So you're not seeing them for the first time here at the featured match station.
Speaking of for the first time, I think this is the first time we've seen Anubis Last Judge's effect resolve on stream. Sorry, it's not an effect, I should say. It's a summoning condition to summon it from the graveyard by taking... If you have 3 or more trap cards of different names, you can take 2 of them and place them on the bottom and then summon it back out.
Now, they do have to be 2 differently named, so I do hope...
Oh, did he choose 2 Swamp Deity?
Yeah, it has to be 2 different names. It's worded kind of funny, but he does need to be taking specifically 2 different names there.
Yeah, he needs to have 3 in the grave,
and I think the
then
judges have
2
caught
back.
it. Yeah, thank goodness.
Very, very heads up on their part. He has 2 different names as well, which is fine.
Yeah.
But he just picked the wrong ones. Yeah, he chose 2 Swamp Deity. He needs to choose a Serpent and a Swamp Deity, and then he's good.
And it is worded kind of strange. I even came to the head judge table myself and said, hey, how does this work? And yeah, the final ruling is they do need to be 2 different names.
And this can't die or something? Artifacts.
Yeah, and then just clarifying here that the Flare Metal is protected from being destroyed by card effects. Then here comes the Anubis, which does have 3,000 attack and can't just attack over it. But on resolution, and because it's a summoning condition, he can't use Fenrir to banish it, actually, which is very important. And I think what Adam is thinking of is, can I out this Fenrir before I go for Man with the Mark?
Well, Man with the Mark might come in the nick of time here, but...
That I should put on the bottom?
Yep, and there we go. Just correcting
There
the
we go. Just making sure, making sure.
They also don't get like put shuffle back in the deck. They're put specifically on the bottom, which is
That's
also
correct,
I think a thing that Adam forgot to do as well. This effect is very rarely seen in the Tomb Keeper deck because by the time you're using this effect, you're probably already winning. But for the grind games like this matchup, it comes up a lot.
And, you know, there are some duels, it's like, hey, you know, you got to know what your cards do, but it's true that you also have to get a lot of duels in to make yourself comfortable doing those game actions over and over and over. And if you don't have a huge circle of playtesting friends, maybe you're just sitting in the lab by yourself, just have to get the reps in so you feel comfortable doing it. But now we're back to where we should be.
And there we see Adam clearing that Fenrir. That was the only thing stopping this Man from the Mark from actually popping off. Like, Adam's like, I can take a few 500 points of damage. I just want to make sure that this guy stays on the field. Because now that I don't have to worry about Fualos, I can now go into my full Fiendsmith line. Ooh, and then we get Treasures of the King back. Can Treasures of the King add Temple from the graveyard? I don't think so.
Yeah, but what would you be doing with Temple right now? Certainly helpful for sure because you'd be able to flip over a trap card.
Well, you can add back the... If you can add back with the Treasure of the King's, the Serpent that you just put back into your deck, you can then activate it that turn and then get back to the Fusion Monster. But it's looking like Adam is just going to go for the Fiendsmith line here, going into Moon, then going into Requiem, as we've all seen before. We love this dance.
Sure, not aggregate. Activate Requiem.
All right, so going to go ahead and get rid of the Fiendsmith Requiem. We talked about how much damage was going to happen. 11 moves is what he's clocked at.
True. I think right now he's at 3,900 life points. Going to get Lacrima, potentially. Oh, Michael's saying, yes, activate all the effects, buddy. And then watch Adam go, actually, I'm not going to use her effect. Watch me, like, not do that.
Just be like, maybe not.
Oh, actually, no, he just summoned Lacrima, didn't do anything else. Because he already has Engraver, so he can just use Engraver to summon itself back anyway.
Interesting. Do you think we're about to see a Chaos Angel here?
Sure. Or we could see Engraver
just the
send the Flare Metal. That is not... That gets through the protection, and that stops all the damage that Adam has been taking.
Send has been such a powerful way to get rid of cards starting from Chaos Emperor Dragon, right? Here we are, so many years later, still being able to use it to get rid of cards that can't be destroyed.
Yep, and now we're more than safe to keep going.
The damage finally has stopped.
I think he's just debating here what the best thing to go into here is. Maybe he's thinking sequence. There is a world where like he can go sequence and maybe make like Duke of Demise and get an additional normal summon of a Fiend monster if he has access to one, but it could just be cute to go for like a Link play here probably.
Duke of Demise is just a cool card. I feel like we haven't seen nearly enough of it in the Fiendsmith decks, but people will cook something up, I am sure. But now we're seeing Treasure of the Kings being activated, so we're going to grab something from the deck again.
Yep, going to get that Apophis of the Serpent Trap, I imagine.
So many Apophyses. Just you get the whole like storyline of him. When he's a swamp deity, when he's the embodiment, maybe he's the god himself.
Yep, we still have not used the Treasure of the Kings effect to search for a monster that mentions Temple of the Kings, but I'm not sure how many we still have left in deck besides Anubis, the Last Judge, or another Man with the Mark, which we won't really get value out of this turn. So there we see those two monsters going to the grave, and we are going to see the Link Summon of Fiendsmith sequence. Is this a Desiree Gambit? We're going to put back 3 cards, plus an engraver, sorry, including an engraver, and that'll give us our Desiree.
You got to feel pretty safe here. The Desiree is going to be very helpful at stopping that first Kashtira monster that shows up if we do clear out the Dark Arm Dragon here. And you'll also have enough materials to maybe negate those Kashtira births too. But I don't see an Agmon so maybe it's just going to be 2.
Yeah, which does stop both of the births, thankfully. But once he activates the one to summon from grave, you don't really need to do anything else unless you are super worried about him having a normal summon.
Well, because he already controls a monster, the normal summon is a big deal here. Can't special summon a Kashtira if you control a monster.
Yep, and here we have the draw phase Serpent going to get Swamp Deity, even more negates on field, so just turning off all these powerful continuous cards. One of the most powerful ways to use effects like Desiree.
Oh, wow.
At the start of main phase 1, we're going to activate Pot of Extravagance. Going to be banishing, I imagine, the full 6 face down from our extra deck.
All of a sudden, those extra deck choices make a lot of sense, right? Because if you're running multiple copies of the same stuff, you don't mind burning off a couple of extra Kashtira Shangri-Iras or maybe a Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon.
This could be a really good Swamp Deity effect here because you could just negate the Extravagance and then still keep up the Desiree in case you need to target both Kashtira births.
I'll Desiree target this birth.
Ooh, Desiree target the birth and the Extravagance, prioritizing using his monster interactions, maybe playing into a Talents if Michael has one. That could be a bit risky.
When the other one comes out, you have to have another trap.
It's like he is just verifying some stuff there now.
We're just we're just clarifying which birth was negated. You can't use any counters, something to denote that, but we can just remember together.
When it
Certainly can take notes to maintain a legal game state, but no need to write here. We're all on the same page.
Okay.
Yep, and Michael's just clarifying sort of how the order of operations work for Swamp Deity. At resolution of the effect, it'll check how many you have. So like if you chain Dark Armed and destroy the trap Apophis the Serpent, that would stop the negate from happening.
Absolutely. So we're going to target that and chain. So it'll special. We're going to negate. And then goodbye.
Yep, even though it's being moved to zones, it's still the same card that Dark Armed Dragon targeted. It doesn't get new information like other cards do if it's like sent to the graveyard or flip face down.
Trap monsters have always been a weird subject in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, but glad to know both duels know the rules.
Fun fact, when they were summoned to the monster zone, they still took up spell and trap zones, but no longer do they do that.
Back in the day, I do remember back in the video game, you would see like the little continuous symbol. I've been playing a lot of early days collection, seeing that on repeat, but this is the present now, and so it looks like Adam thinking if he wants to jump back in. Nope.
Effect to return Desiree.
There we see the Typhon emergency button being pressed to send back Desiree.
Actually,
Adam staring at that card that he has face down. Yeah, to be fair, Typhon does not target, so he doesn't need to declare that. Adam just thinking a response here. He's going to let the Desiree go back to the extra deck, sending that sequence to the graveyard, and now all we're dealing with is a Typhon.
is it into the end of the turn?
Definitely a lot less scary there for sure, but with the negated
22 or
Kashtira
18?
births, you're not really getting a lot done.
I mean, to be fair, if Adam doesn't pressure Michael enough, those births are just going to get so much value for him turn over turn.
So all of a sudden, you know, trap cards, definitely known to create a grind game, but it seems like the spell cards are taking it this time. The duel's not over yet, so play passes back over to Adam. He's going to draw for his turn.
And there we see two more Charmies just clouding Adam's hand.
Doesn't help when you control cards.
Yep, so Treasure here is going to, I think, search for a monster that can search for...
Oh, we're actually using the condition here of Anubis again.
Yep, going to be summoning it back. We have 2 different names, going back to the bottom of the deck. We can just create this loop of this giant body.
I
Oh,
don't
wait,
think I
can he?
shuffled.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's a summoning
Maybe
condition, not an
shuffle
effect, so
trap.
Typhon does not stop it.
That is correct.
For a second, I was like, but isn't Typhon a really good card?
It is a really good
It
card.
is. But it does not stop Anubis the Last Judge from being summoned. And that can just out the Typhon right now.
Definitely big enough. 2 Molcharmies.
So I can't activate.
I mean, you could normal summon them and make Moon. That's a thing.
You could actually, and this may be a good time to do it considering there's not a lot of resistance. We may see the Typhon cleared and then go into a Fiendsmith combo. Or not, because it looks like we are about to normal summon. I think that's Perulia in Adam's hand.
Yeah, because I think Adam wants to preserve his battle phase to do as much damage as possible because Michael's still at 8,000 life points. So there we see the normal Perulia, and like I said, we're going to go into Moon of the Closed Heaven here and then unlock the Fiendsmith engine that we recycled earlier with our Sequence and Engraver. And now when we get back Lacrima, we can actually use her effect to send to the graveyard here. Maybe get Paradise, maybe get that Engraver back in the graveyard. All great options. And now we can do the fun song and dance of put back Heaven, bring out Graver, use Requiem to equip, use Engraver's effect, get rid of Typhon that way.
I imagine since the Desiree is still in the extra deck, it would not feel bad to just bring it right back out.
Yeah, it still checks both the Kashtira bursts, which is all of Michael's follow-up, and then if it comes back to Adam's turn, he could just go for game there.
Sure.
But here we're going to see the Treasure of the Kings here to search because he has 2 set cards and or a trap in the graveyard. Both conditions are met right now. He can add a monster that mentions Temple of the Kings to his hand. Going to get his last man with the mark probably if he has it in deck. Boom, there he is.
Yeah, I normal summon the Perulia. Yeah.
A lot of retro cards on Michael's side. Retro in the sense that it's been 2022 since we saw Kashtira's at their peak of power. But I bet he's wishing that he didn't just pack Red Eyes. Maybe he hoped he brought Jinzo too.
Oh, Jinzo would have been an absolute house here. Here we're going to be getting the Engraver back by shuffling back the Moon, like I mentioned earlier.
Requiem, equip to Engraver.
Using the effective Engraver here to send both the Requiem and the Typhon, and now we're going to use these 2 to make, or we're not. We're not going to do that. Yeah,
Oh, just
Sequence
realized that
already
maybe
in
the
the
sequence is
graveyard.
gone, yeah.
Yeah, maybe he should have returned that instead of the Moon,
Bang,
but he
bang.
got a little ahead of himself. He was listening to me and not listening to his heart, unfortunately.
We'll keep our voice down then. But he's still in a really good position here. It's just the danger of a Kashtira jumping into the field and fray.
Again.
So it looks like we went to battle phase and we attacked with both of these monsters, dealing a total of 3,000 life points, bringing down Michael to 5K. It is worth noting that Adam did use his normal summon earlier on the Molcharmi Perulia, so that's why he couldn't summon Man with the Mark from his hand.
A little painful there. Maybe a good use case for the Duke of Demise after all.
Yeah, but how are you going to summon it without sequence?
True, true. So yeah, there's the SP Little Knight.
Yeah, just an unfortunate mistake on Adam's part. If he just puts back the sequence using Engraver, he has the infinite loop of all the powerful cards.
Ah, so you're telling me he didn't sequence the play.
Oh, we got him. That's nice. Put it all in the jar. And now these births are pretty much unfettered. He can just bring back Fenrir effect search, and then he can get back a Rise Heart, and then he can go for a rank 7 play or just straight up clear this. Oh, well, I guess he needs to clear the SP first.
Does have to deal with the SP Little Knight, but oh wow, Dominus Purge, and he does have a trap card in the graveyard. He definitely better on a deck like this.
Wow, negating and destroying that Fenrir. Don't even need to SP Little Knight it. We're good.
Effect to summon back,
And now we're gonna speed run.
This little open game state here, get the Lacrima out.
The attribute. Oh, sorry. Good.
Are we going to use the Requiem effect yet? May as well not. May as well wait for some kind of interaction from Michael. We've seen Breakers before, and having a quick effect tribute is a really nice way to kind of dodge effects like that.
Also keeps 2 monsters on the field just in case there's another Raigeki or something like that. But actually peering into the hand, I see a Molcharmi.
And a Rise Heart.
And a Rise Heart. Ooh, Rise Heart. Certainly a Kashtira, but maybe not the biggest.
Do we play rank 4s?
We're about to find out.
We might. Gotta be normal summoning Perulia. Hey, Michael's like, I saw that play you made last turn, Adam. That's a really good play. I'm gonna do the same thing. Here's my jellyfish.
Oh, and there we
Typhon number
go.
2! Oh, only in extravagance decks where you see the double Typhon move.
Oh, yeah. The two on the field.
So we're going to go ahead and tribute the Fiends with Requiem here. It's an emergency. Let's go ahead and get Lacrima and then likely send the Fiendsmith Paradise. Oh, no, we're going to send the Engraver.
What
So
is
maybe-
that set card that Adam has had since turn 1? Is that the Paradise, you think?
I feel like it would have to be.
Because why would you not send Paradise here? You already have an Engraver in the yard, right?
Enter battle phase.
Going to battle phase, clearing out the SP Little Knight.
That's 1,300 damage. I mean, Michael's only at, Adam's only at 1,600 life points left.
Close it in. This has been an incredible game one, by the way. Let me remind you, as we only have 18 minutes left on the clock and some change.
Yeah, both players are using up all of their resources, it feels like.
1500.
Certainly every piece of the deck in action here.
Would you use the Typhon here to bounce back the Lacrima? Because you know that Adam already has a normal summon in the form of Mark, so giving him 2 normal summons in his hand kind of makes his hand a bit more awkward.
You might. There's not really a reason not to keep that Xyz material under, or rather, you should use the Xyz material because it's kind of risky, right? If you don't use it, you lose it possibly next turn.
I think Michael was checking how many trap cards are in Adam's yard because I think Anubis can still be summoned, but I think we only have 2 trap cards, and I believe in order to even try to summon it, you need to have at least 3.
With different names, no less. So having a duplicate isn't going to help either.
It's Fiendsmith cards.
Yeah, because I keep putting stuff back. And do you want me to put this back and
Or do you want me to just
shuffle and
He
draw?
keeps doing Fiendsmith on my turn, so I just
Yeah,
pass.
we forgot to shuffle before.
Oh, people are just clarifying whether or not he should shuffle before he draws and then offer the
You know what
cut
it
to
was.
Michael.
You know it was this one.
Yep. Really good heads up from both players, always making sure they keep track of has the deck been randomized, has it not been? A lot of things have been searched, a lot of things have been put back, all that stuff.
So drew a Book of Eclipse there, interesting, and at least has something you can turn face down if it needs to.
So I see Purge. I know we have Evenly in there.
Finally get the sequence back.
Yep, put the engraver right there. Then we can use the engraver to attach the Requiem. There we see the Lacrima coming down. We don't
If
even
he
need
doesn't
Man with
use
the
the
Mark
effect-
anymore.
If he's not used, excuse me, if he doesn't use the effect, of course, I think that is the Fiendsmith Paradise down there.
Yeah, also I don't think he has really anything worth of value to send anyway, if he, unless he had Paradise, of course. So there we see the engraver getting rid of the Typhon once again, and now we're going to go into our link to of sequence. And if we do have an Agnum Day line, like you mentioned, this could be more than enough damage to go for game.
Definitely could be.
Jerome, are you seeing this?
Looks like Desiree is coming back.
So here we're going to go ahead and fusion summon all 3 of those monsters into Desiree.
And I do see the Agnum Day, so it is possible.
One in hand.
Yep.
Battle phase.
Oh, we're going straight to battle phase here.
Really?
1,200 plus 28, that's 4,000. Did he not see the Agnum Day line to go for 18 and then go for 46?
Maybe wanted to preserve it, but I just...
I don't think I'm missing anything. I think that was a perfectly legal play.
Right, gonna link summon.
There we see the
Now
Agnum
bringing
Day.
it out. Perhaps our math is a little shy.
Desiree.
Yeah, I mean, to my knowledge, it was more than enough damage, but maybe Adam is afraid of something that I'm not taking into account.
Could be worried about Nibiru, the Primal Being. Just a classic.
100%, yeah.
So we will say goodbye to one of the Cashier Births.
Thanks to the effect of Desiree. And there we see a pass. Agnum Day is a quick effect, so there's no point in shotgunning it now. You can just use it in response to whatever you want.
Absolutely. Another draw from Michael. Let's see what he's got.
Once per turn. Quick effect.
Just getting a clarification here how this card works. I think we just top deck Raigeki. Oh no, that's Lightning Storm.
And that is not going to help with those face-up cards on the field.
Yep, so here we see the Agnum Day going to the Spell and Trap zone, bringing back that Desiree and attaching it, and giving it the extra bonus of increasing its attack points for each link rating it has equipped to it.
Immediately negating that Cashier Birth, it looks like, too. Not a lot left in the extra deck after that pot of extravagance.
Is this going to be the old gambit of set a Rise Heart and pass the turn and hope it's enough?
It looks like it's starting to turn face down. I'm a big fan of watching card hands to try to sort of peer into a duelist's mind.
Oh,
and exactly,
there it
yeah.
is. Set
So-
Rise Heart.
So that Rise Heart being grabbed from the side, I'm like, I do think it's going in defense.
Hey, huge. Oh, and there's the feed for the Paradise. We were right the whole
wow.
time. It was.
Just been sitting on it. I think this is the first time we got to see it resolve
All
on
cards?
stream, just clearing everything out.
Yep, and then on his next turn, he just switches the Desiree to attack mode and goes for game.
I think that's it.
Back to put Act Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, plus we have the Agnum Day as well. More than enough damage. Yeah, it goes there, and then the Paradise goes to the graveyard. We're skipping steps here a little bit, but Adam's like, oh, it's time for me to win the game. Sorry
Very
if I got a little excited.
Yep.
Right, draw.
Another, yeah, has he drawn a Mulcharmy every turn?
They're glued to his hand, even if he doesn't want him to be.
Game 1 goes to Adam. What a grindy game
Oh,
1 for
yeah.
both players. 2 Typhons were summoned. Incredible.
Michael keeping the duelist honest there, right? Show me the cards to win. I'm not going to concede an inch.
Definitely huge huge shout outs to Michael there, bringing that really impressive board that Adam established turn 1 with just 2 powerful spell cards and then going, here's all my Kashtira monsters. Are they enough? And unfortunately, they were not.
That is just the game 1 winner, by the way. Remember, we've been watching the same duel for quite a while. A lot of furious cards flying back and forth. But looks like we might be removing some stuff over there.
Now, if you're Michael, because you know your opponent's on a trap deck, even though you are a blind second deck, are you kind of priced in to being like, but I don't want you to have access to your trap cards, right?
Yeah, Kashtira definitely can go first, but it's still very difficult to take out all those good cards, right? Think about Lightning Storm. You're going to miss it when they set 5 on turn 2.
Yeah, you would rather just play into your opponent's board, I think, at any chance you have.
We'll see what they end up side decking out there. Adam feeling pretty confident again, as we mentioned at the beginning of this very long round. He, if he wins, is just going to be able to advance pretty safely into day 2 without worrying about it. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to make it to the top cut, so every duel counts. But we are going into this with some advantage on the Tombkeeper side. Of course, Michael still worked very hard on that duel, showing that Kashtira has still got it, so we'll see what he's able to pull off. But you're right. Does he go first or second?
Do you think the main misstep for Michael's end was not going for Shangri-Era during Adam's turn? But he didn't really have any ways to banish cards during Adam's turn, so he wouldn't have gotten extra value out of the Shangri-Era pop.
Yeah, it is a little tricky too, because as you see with all the access to the Fiendsmith engine, you're still able to negate it. So even the protection effect of Kashtira Shangri-Ira wouldn't be doing that much if you just say, no, we're going to negate that. That doesn't even exist.
And Flare Battle did really pressure Adam and almost got him down to a potential range where Michael could have gone for game.
The Flare Metal's a really good card, and I have seen duelists just be like, I can't win fast enough. There's no way I can play enough cards, especially depending on what deck you're going against.
Yeah, and like we saw, like the Fiendsmiths resolve like minimum 4 to 5 monster effects with just one cycle of all their cards.
Absolutely, that's 2,500 damage right off the top.
Plus, who knows what else you do.
The duelists are pretty much locked in. Michael already presenting his deck. Adam just about to do the same.
Here's the first interesting choice of game 2. Will Michael choose to go second, even after post side?
Oh, he's got a little smile on his face. What's he going to tell him?
I think he's going to choose to still go second. He's believing in the dream that is the Kashtira go second deck.
I think so too. Oh, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series continues here in beautiful Houston, Texas. So let's go into game 2 of round 8.
No.
Both duelists are ready. They're happy. They're excited. Wish them all luck in the chat.
All right, let's see what happens first here.
It's looking like...
I see a lot of spell cards on the left there with Michael. I think he did go second, and
Yep.
he did. Adam with the man with the mark right off the top.
That's a great way to start for his Tombkeeper deck for sure.
So I guess the theory here with Michael is just what we talked about. There's just so many great spells in the deck that specifically work in Michael's favor. So why change it up? Just stick to what you know.
But something that did not come up in the first game that Adam will probably be playing for this game is that Man with the Mark can protect your back row from being destroyed by card effects. And I don't know if Michael has thought about that for playing around any of these cards.
Have to be an order of operations problem. You just get rid of the Man with the Mark and then go for the spell and traps.
True.
But again, the spell and traps are what are probably going to keep you from getting rid of Man with the Mark.
No, I'm pretty sure Man with the Mark also protects himself too.
Oh, that's right.
He specifically protects himself and all your Apophis monsters.
Going to be difficult then. Get rid of one of those Anubis the Last Judges there to bring out Circuit.
And this will get him access to Temple of the Kings here. The OG Temple of the Kings specifically. I guess you could get treasure as well, but you may as well get the real temple.
You know, didn't think about it before, but just now I realized that Adam running Book of Eclipse in the main deck means that he can set his own trap cards back to the spell and trap zone for additional activation.
Oh my gosh, you're totally right.
Yeah, it's just some weird stuff that like only this deck can do, but the Dimension Shifter coming down is really going to change things up. No graveyard means no access to some of the most powerful parts of this deck.
And because when they go back, their trap cards, they don't get flipped back up. That's so
right,
cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Adam is more than content, even though he just got shifted here from Michael, just to be like, yeah, no, you know what? I'm kind of good. I have my Popus cards. I have some interaction. I'm chilling.
Set it and forget it. I think that is Adam's plan. And that's it. Pass turn. Michael draws. Still an effective Dimension Shifter here.
Oh, here we're just clarifying what Circuit's effect is on field. It's kind of an homage to the original Circuit monster. Whenever it destroys cards, it kind of like sucks them up and then eats and then gains their attack.
Absorbs their power. Odeon would be proud wherever he is.
So there's Lightning Storm. I believe we just called spell traps. So if we chain our continuous traps to be summoned here, Man with the Mark will then protect them. But if they're still face down, I don't believe it will.
Should not, because their names would be unknown.
Right, exactly. But if they get activated, they'll be no. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, but we are going to see those activations. No reason not to.
And that's 2 infinite impermanents being destroyed.
Look
That's
how gorgeous
huge.
those are, too, by the way.
Ultimate rare. Oh, so many ultimate rares being shown off today.
Pretty good. All right.
Ooh, nice.
Okay. Yeah, that would just destroy Circuit here, but it does protect specifically this card and then all of his Apophis monsters.
Apophis monsters.
All right, so still has spells. I see what appears to be 2 Kashtira Theosis and a Kashtira Birth, so he's just going to set some cards. Just 1 card and pass turn.
Go ahead.
So that's rough. Maybe just a few too many spells in the stack.
Yeah, not enough monsters to be able to use all those powerful Kashtira combo cards.
For now.
Sometimes we like to say all gas and no brakes. I almost feel like Michael's turn was all gas and no car.
Right. all breaks, no gas.
Yeah, there's just nowhere to go.
He just stopped Adam's cards. He didn't really do anything.
That's true. That's true.
So there we have another judge going to the graveyard. This time going to the graveyard, even though Shifter was in play. Oh, well, we banished the first one with Circuit, but this one will go to the graveyard. Gonna get another man with the mark here.
Many men.
You summon a detonator, right?
Just glad this deck has caught the imagination of so many different duelists, right? We didn't see a lot of it at Team YCS Las Vegas, but in the regionals in between, people really understand the man with the mark.
Yeah, people are always afraid to like really dive in like week 1 for these TCG or World Premiere archetypes. But man, I feel like if we just had this figured out for YCS Vegas, it would have been such a different event.
Oh, absolutely. Hopefully there are some Tomb Keepers watching that have been inspired.
We've definitely seen some awesome iterations. What's been your favorite? I think
the Blue Eyes one was pretty sick, I ain't gonna lie.
Having more Spellcaster normal summons is always a good thing, baby.
Is there a circuit or something?
But this version's really good. Adam has just been doing such numbers, just kind of sort of playing it straight, but including the Fiendsmith engine for that additional extension that doesn't use his normal summon.
There we see a link with the 2 man with the marks. Probably going to access our own Fiendsmith engine here if we're Adam. No Silhouette Rabbit again. Oh, I can never get it right.
Commentator's curse. It's still a good move, either or, but it looks like Adam is really all about the trap card and trap card activations. The Fiendsmiths have been really late in the turn or later in the duel, but getting that Statue of Anguish pattern set, just good stuff.
Ooh, and there we see another Apophis the Serpent coming down, being activated by the Temple of the Kings, and that will give us another trap monster, and I believe it will trigger Silhouette Rabbit to destroy that set card that Michael has.
Sadly. Yeah.
Thus clearing the way. It was cached here at the Theosis.
You remembered.
Haven't seen this many trap cards on the first turn since Makura the Destructor used to have its own old effect.
Oh man, that card was crazy.
Oh, it was insane.
Yeah, it was his turn. That's what I summoned last turn.
Yeah, so the Serpent that he just switched to attack mode was summoned during Michael's turn. This new one was set this turn thanks to Temple, and he summoned it in attack mode. I believe it has the classic stats of 1600 attack, 1800 defense. So right now we have, I believe, 46 damage for Adam.
Definitely big numbers, but maybe able to close it out right now. So still taking a look.
I mean, we could summon Swamp Deity here. We could go for Divine Serpent Apophis.
Can you set it in the same zone that it's summoning from because it's all one effect?
They,
Oh, he's asking about the ruling of, can you summon it to a different zone, or does it have to be the same zone? Yeah, they're pretty much just free monsters now. It's the easiest way to think about how these trap cards work.
Absolutely, yeah.
summon it and then you have the option to set.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so it's all like one effect, but they like resolve in sequence. It's a once you do this, then you do this.
All right, so Adam considering their options.
I think he's just debating if he wants to summon this Divine Serpent Apophis, this Apophis Swamp Deity, and then get some more damage. But here we're just going to, I call it Link Fusion Summon, into Divine Serpent Apophis. Going to be resetting those Serpent Apophis if he wants to. How much damage is this? I think Divine Serpent has 2,800 attack points.
Oh, but we're about to see more on the field already.
Yeah, and then I believe Swamp Deity has 2,000 attack points because it's level 6 and not level 4, so it's a bit stronger. And this could be a lot of damage that Adam is representing here.
Yeah, Apophis is 28.
Yep. No, we're going to Link Spider because it is a normal monster. Wow. And now we're going to use Apophis the Last Judge, shuffling back 2 different names. That was the other name we needed to put back. Sorry, not shuffle back, put to the bottom of the deck. And now we have 3,045 plus 38. Is that 8,300 damage?
I think that's big enough numbers. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's 45, 55 plus 28 is 83.
Is that the battle phase effect, or that was
Well, I guess we just got to tally it up, see if there's anything missing.
that one does what?
If I activate a trap on like a new chain, the way Fenrir activates, it targets a card on the field and destroys it.
Yeah, just clarifying how Anubis is. Anubis has an actual on-field effect, by the way, where it can like pop cards if you activate trap cards. Very powerful.
That one's good.
Oh no, he's talking about Divine Serpent. I apologize.
So I take battle damage.
All right, taking the damage.
Oh, clarifying with the illusion monsters, I believe that's only for battles.
Yes,
and you
that's
always
correct.
take battle damage too. You don't not take battle damage.
Neither monster is destroyed by battle because they're illusions. The vibe of the cards there is that they just sort of pass through you and nothing happens, but you still take the game.
Yep, that was enough damage for Adam to win the game. Wow, really awesome to see that line. I had no idea we had Link Spider in the deck to get that extra bit of damage.
Yeah,
Super
every
awesome
now
to
and
see.
again there's like a weird deck where you're just like, yeah, I have a normal monster in the deck. I need to convert it to an effect monster, and that can set up for some really cool SP Little Knight plays, but we didn't even have to see that. Adam just takes the game 2-0 in a 42-minute duel. Oh, all traps, all spells, all the time, but Adam clinched it out. Really good stuff.
Yeah, Tomb Keeper has definitely been the talk of the town this weekend. Lots of players showing how powerful these cards are and all the different things they can do. Sad we couldn't see Michael show a bit more of what his pure Kashtira deck can do. Really awesome, but maybe not the best in this particular matchup. Not many monster effects to get value off of, unfortunately.
That is absolutely true, but he's still got a chance, right? He is still, this is his first loss. He had a draw before, so, you know, X1 can top, absolutely.
100%.
And what an amazing series of duels. Like, this is just so wild, the impact of what a previously existing deck was out there. You see the creativity of duelists, right? We saw that with Blue Eyes, where people doing things like invoked Blue Eyes, or maybe they were doing a pure Blue Eyes or a Primite Blue Eyes. This feels like the next cool deck where everybody's just styling.
Oh yeah, super awesome to see, and I can't wait to see more this weekend and all the fun things people are going to do. Congrats to Adam for guaranteeing his spot in Day 2. This will be the last round you and I are commentating today before we come back tomorrow for round 10 and onwards. It's going to be so much fun, you guys. I can't wait.
It's just going to be a good time. I just can't believe seeing like all the cool cards, because that's what I just look for. When the new cards come out, yeah, it's cool in theory. It's way cooler for somebody to just put that in the deck box, fill out the deck list, and just go and do it. And a lot of people have been doing that this weekend.
Hey, you know, I love talking about cards as much as the next guy, but playing with those cards and winning with those cards, even better.
So are you thinking of building a Tomb Keeper deck of your own?
I have so many decks I want to build right now, Steven. It's hard, but yes, it's so impressive and awesome. And I do have a collector's rare Man with the Mark, which is really pretty and nice, and
stuff.
I want to show it off.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I was thinking maybe like an Argo Stars build just to test. I don't know if it's going to be good. Don't quote me on that. Don't start picking up Argo Stars cards, but it just might be a fun way to go ahead and do that.
I mean, that makes Anguish Pattern even more pops, so it can't go wrong, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because they special summon themselves and then they put themselves back into the spell and trap zone. It's a really weird, bizarre deck. If you haven't seen it, it just came out in Supreme Darkness, but might give that a shot. Might actually have to try Tomb Keepers out myself.
Hey, anything can work. If Blue Eyes Tomb Keeper can work, I think anything can work.
Anything that's a spellcaster now is just a Blue Eyes deck, right? That's how the sort of invoked crossover happens.
Yes.
Because Alistair gets negated and you're like, okay, cool, Spirit with Eyes of Blue.
And who knew playing Alistair with light monsters was a really good thing to do? Like, what are the odds? Mechaba, really good card.
Mechaba, that sounds familiar. Oh, goodness. What a weekend we've had so far. Again, some really interesting stuff and great decks. But tomorrow is really going to be cool. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still have one more round ahead of us. So.
Yep, and a lot of duelists are vying to make sure that they get that 19-point magic number to guarantee their spot in Day 2 and give them as many chances as possible to be in a YCS top cut.
The real temptation is you can't stay up all night, right? Because you still want to get testing done. Maybe you want to get ready for your public events tomorrow. Spoiler alert, I think the French Open happens at like 3 a.m. local time.
Yeah.
I've already got my alarm set so I can continue to watch more duels. There's just so much Yu-Gi-Oh going on. It's a great time to be in the game.
Yeah, Steven, don't you realize, like, yes, I love sleep, but I love dueling more. If I choose not to sleep, I can watch more dueling and duel more.
That's true. That's true.
Win-win.
We're just teasing. Please take care of your body. Please sleep, because that's honestly the best way to get ahead in the tournament. You're the one who ate. You're the one who took care of your body. You're the one who's prepared to duel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good stuff, good stuff. Has there been anything that you wish we've seen, right? There's still maybe somebody floating out there that we haven't seen yet. Maybe like those A to Z duelists that are still floating out.
Ooh, that could be really cool. Some more Maze of the Master archetypes that maybe haven't been talked about enough because of how cool they could be. Yeah, I'd say that'd be a really awesome inclusion and surprise factor during Day 2. Yeah.
Definitely some performance stuff. And no, I didn't stutter there. It's performance, not performage. But speaking of performances, let's go ahead and go to our stage so we can talk to Jackie and hear from our winner themselves.
Thank you so much, Stevens. And I am with Adam, our big winner. What a fantastic day for you. Such a great performance on stage. Show me some enthusiasm here, Adam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Best.
You did fantastic. I do want to talk to you a little bit about your deck here. We were jokingly talking behind the scenes, and you were like, Jackie, I literally was putting this together when I was in the registration line. It worked out for you.
Yeah, I have no one to thank but Ferruccio.
We started at the back of the line, finished the deck at the front of the line, and walked up to register.
Okay. So, playing today, have you felt nervous at all or uneasy?
Only on stream.
Why? Was it the lights and people watching?
Everybody watching me. But I got the win, and that's all I can hope for.
Was it kind of cool being up here, though?
It's terrifying.
You're killing me right now with this interview. It's too funny. Talk to me about tomorrow. What is your mentality moving forward in the tournament?
Just win the next one.
I like that, taking it duel by duel.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you can do. Live in the moment and duel by duel.
I love that. Okay, is there anything that you want to say to everyone watching at home, to your friends who are here?
Hello, my best friends.
Adam, probably my best interview today, I'm going to be honest.
Thank you.
Thank
My
you.
best interview today, too.
Thank you so much, Adam. I'm going to send it back to our casters.